Hey, how you doing? This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show, and I'm back down in my workshop finally. The temperatures have finally started coming down in Florida, and they're supposed to get even cooler this weekend, so it'll make it so that I can work down here without having that wall shaker air conditioner on. Got one fan on, which is across the room from me, so that shouldn't be, excuse me, too bad. I am having some sinus problems, and I've started this video about, I think it's about the 9th time, because my sinuses keep draining early in the morning. And I'm going to try to get through it this time. Please bear with me. What we're going to do is we're going to test this radio right here. I got this in about 2 weeks ago. This is a Quansheng, I think that's how you pronounce it, transceiver, handheld transceiver for amateur radio operators and listeners, but you can't, if you don't have a license, you can't transmit. But you can listen. This is a fairly wide band receiver, VHF, UHF, and it does a pretty good job. It's fairly reasonable. If you can go back to my previous couple of shows on this, I talk about how much it cost. And it's on Amazon. I've got it in my Amazon store. I think it's $27.95 right now. And it comes with a bunch of accessories that I don't have here. We're just going to do some antenna and power testing this morning. Anyway, so I could not find, and this is becoming more and more a problem for me, I could not find my adapter cables to use my better power SWR. So I'm going to use this one. This is a Supercom. I did a review on this. And it's made for this type of radio with the SMA connectors. So it screws directly in to that connector. Now, it does have one problem with this radio. Let me get the radio up close, and hopefully the focus will come in. If you look at the profile there, you'll see this little bump right here. That's the LED light. And on this radio, and the Bofang's have these little lights too, but on this radio, it's higher than the antenna connector. So what happens when I screw this in directly, because I can't find my adapters for my other meters, this screws in directly, but what happens is when it gets down near to the bottom, I'm still turning, it's fine thread. I start hitting, if I get the light right, I start hitting, see that? It's hitting that LED light. So I try to get it as tight as I can and being careful not to break it. And what happens is it doesn't get turned enough so that the power meter is facing the same direction the front of the radio is. So the power meter is facing the opposite direction. So I'm going to have to kind of manipulate to read what's going on. So we're going to put, this is the antenna that came with this radio. We're going to put that on here. And I have to use an adapter. I'm going to lay this down so I don't break anything. Or try not to break anything. I got to know where I'm a real klutz. Anyway, so there we are. I'm going to zoom out a little bit for a second so you can see the contraption I've got here. So there it is. Radio, meter plugged directly into the radio, an adapter, and then the antenna that came with this radio. That's what we got. So now we'll zoom back in. And I'm going to have to turn the radio. Let me turn it on first. I'm going to turn it backwards so that we can read the power meter or the SWR. So right now, the radio is set to transmit on 145.525, I think, unless there's an offset. I didn't check to see if there's an offset. Let's try it. See if there's an offset. KE4 GSK, KE4 GSK testing. No, there's no offset. So it's transmitting at 145.525. Now, we'll turn it on. Turn on the power meter. I'm going to hold this little button here. Do a little countdown. And now it's on. And it defaults to SWR. So now, we're going to turn it over so that we can read the meter. This is SWR. KE4 GSK, KE4 GSK testing. 167, 168. That's pretty good. Ideally, you want that number to be less than, say, 2.5. This is the SWR, a measurement of the signal going to the antenna and the reflections back. And you want it to be perfect. It would be a 1. That means everything's going out the antenna. You're getting your maximum transmit range. So that's not bad. 168 is not bad. Again, we have adapters here, so it's a little bit of a kludge. This meter is about 10% accurate, the testing I've done on it. So it's not perfect by any means. Now we can push the power button again, and it will go to the power measurement mode. So we're going to do it again. Try to hold it steady. KE4 GSK testing, KE4 GSK testing. 6.7 watts. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Actually, I think I said this meter was good to 5 watts. It's actually good to 50 watts. So we're not exceeding the 5 watts. So if I think back to the Bofang, similar radio, it was putting out on the VHF range, it was putting out about 4.7 watts. So this is doing a much better job, and it's advertised as having more power output. This is the latest, greatest version of this guy. Okay, that was at 4.75. Now let's go to the other band, 70 centimeter band, and it's programmed right now for 438.325. And we'll measure. We're in the power mode, so we'll measure the power. KE4 GSK, KE4 GSK. About 5.8, 5.9. Still pretty good. Way above 5. Pretty good. So let's check the SWR. We'll switch back to SWR mode. KE4 GSK testing, KE4 GSK testing. Not too good. 4.0. That's not, remember I said 2.5 is kind of the max you want to see? 4.0. Not good. Not good. So this antenna is not working too good on the 70 centimeter amateur radio band. Now that's the reason I brought this antenna. This is a comparison. So we're going to take this off. Now this antenna is the one that was supplied with my Bofang UV-R50 radio. I don't remember what kind of readings I got with it on the Bofang. But we're going to try it right now. Make sure everything's nice and secure. Okay, we are on 438.325. And we're on SWR. We were getting a 4.0 with the other antenna. See what happens here. KE4 GSK, KE4 GSK, 2.9. Marginal. That's safe. That's not going to damage anything, and you're going to get reasonable output. So let's go to power. Now we got over, I don't remember the exact number, but it was over 5 on this band for the other antenna. KE4 GSK, 5.8. I don't remember it being that high. I think it was in the 5 range. Not bad. So this antenna on this band is doing a little better. Let's go to the other band. Oops. 145. And we'll transmit and look at power. KE4 GSK, KE4 GSK, 6.2. not bad. Not bad at all. We'll look at SWR. KE4GSK testing, KE4GSK testing. Pretty good, 1.07. So actually, this radio with the Bofeng antenna did if my memory is halfway decent, it did a pretty good job compared to the antenna that's supplied with it. Now the one I just realized what I didn't bring is I didn't bring the second antenna that was supplied with this radio. I am such a ditz. Anyway, I think we're pretty well through this. Maybe I'll do a separate video using the other antenna that came with this radio. It's a long antenna. It's a knockoff for one of the very popular antennas for these types of radios, but it's not the original. It's a knockoff. It doesn't even have a number on it. That's it. If you enjoyed this show, please give me a thumbs up. If you wanted me to do any more testing on this radio, I will. Otherwise, I think I'm going to call it done. It does appear overall that as far as transmit and SWR readings, this radio with the Bofeng antenna is better than the Bofeng UV-R50 with its antenna. It's slightly better. The Bofeng power output was less than 5, close to 4. This one was above 5. Now, one last thing I will say about Chinese radios, be they transceivers like this guy, be they shortwave listening radios, or what. Chinese radios have a problem with the quality of the radio. You can get lots of variance between radio and radio, and also in case of these guys, variance between antenna and antenna. The quality control is not that good. So you will see reviews of this radio and the people will say, yeah, it's not that good. That's their radio. I lucked out and this radio is performing very good, very well. So you have to keep that in mind. I've had shortwave radios, little portable shortwave radios from China that were terrible, but I've seen reviews by other people and they were okay. So keep that in mind anytime you're purchasing Chinese radios. The other thing is, because of that, it's good to spend a few extra bucks, not a lot more, but a few extra bucks more, to get Chinese products from a distributor that will give you a refund without a lot of hassle. Amazon is great about that. Their prices are higher than if you buy the equivalent from a Chinese seller from Chinese. Number one, if they'll even say they'll take it back, you got the expense of shipping it to China. So keep that in mind. That's it. If you enjoyed the show, please give me a thumbs up. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Time to turn some fans on.